Hello, my name is Jason Watson, and my PowerPoint presentation is titled Family and Delinquency. Basically, it's about family issues. It's believed that there's a strong correlation between family issues and the potential for delinquency. What this is saying is that problems in the family, low income, criminal problems with parents can affect juvenile delinquency as time goes on. According to Stouthammer-Loeber, 2002, these issues are, and these are the factors that we believe that causes possible delinquency. Poor parenting skills, basically is what it explains itself. Parental stress. By this, it's stress that parents take on, whether it be issues at work, social issues, anything that a parent may experience that children or juveniles may not necessarily feel the brunt of, can kind of trickle down to the juvenile through the parents. Low interaction between parent and child. This is basically, this is self-explanatory also, is parents not having much to do with their kids, spending their time, whether it be at work, leisure time with their friends, just kind of socially just outcasting their kids and doing nothing but putting a roof over their head and food in their mouth, and sometimes not even that. Another issue is poverty. You have issues, low-income parts of the city has always been a problem to affect future delinquency. Age of parents. By this I mean teenage pregnancy. Kids get pregnant at a young age. They don't know how to parent, so therefore it causes problems for the future for the kid when the kid gets older, because they're not taught the right way, not taught necessarily the difference between right and wrong. Parental criminal mental health problems. This goes back to what I was saying before about the parents having a prior criminal record. You live in a household with parents that are criminals and participate in the criminal element. It becomes second nature to you and teaches you that maybe this is okay, and kind of leads you down that path. The last one is parental education level, and it's self-explanatory. It's parents who drop out of high school, sometimes because of the teenage pregnancy, can all affect future delinquency with children. Basically, these are issues that it'll prove core support systems such as the immediate family and the household are just, it's integral in deterring delinquent behavior. If you don't have these core values at home, then you're going to have possible issues with your children later on, and you know, just as the book said, peer influence is just as important as parental influence. This is where it starts. Okay, what I did is I did research on two researches that I'm going to discuss here and kind of give you an idea of what they're researching and their conclusions. First one is Stouthammer-Loeber, Wee, Homish, and Loeber. This was conducted in 2002. Conducted research with inner-city male children. The research attempted to link risk factors that apply to maltreatment and persistent serious delinquency. Of the males studied, 1/5 had been involved in substantiated maltreatment. Researchers believed the number to be elevated due to the group now realizing at an older age they were subject to these maltreatments. And what the last part there is saying is that these kids, this is self-reporting. They went to these kids, talked to them about maltreatment and the links to delinquency, and see how many of them have committed delinquent acts. And the last sentence is basically saying that these kids are now at an age to recognize, hey, when I was younger, I was maltreated. That wasn't necessarily the case with all of them because they weren't that age. Next slide is almost half of the maltreated males were persistent delinquents by age 13. Stouthammer-Loeber, Wee, Homish, and Loeber. This relation is important because early onset of serious delinquency by 13-year-old males is a genuine indicator for a continued serious delinquent career. 13 kind of being the threshold number there. Stouthammer-Loeber, Wee, Homish, and Loeber found that these males shared many of the same family issues, but the most common was not living in the same house as both biological parents. Now, we read in our book this is a very important part of upbringing. It seems that a lot of delinquency will begin with well, I don't want to say begin with, but a lot of the basis of delinquency is mom and dad. Mom and dad not being together, whether it be a stepfather or stepmother, both biological parents are not together. It kind of seems to be the common denominator. Further research was conducted by Yampolskaya, Armstrong, and McNeish. It's 2011. And basically they focused on juveniles ages 7 to 17 who were living in out-of-home care. And out-of-home care, it could be they were removed from their home because of safety issues, or removed from their home and put in juvenile facilities because of delinquent acts. In this study, chronic maltreatment distinguishes those who are at a high risk or involvement with the juvenile justice system. Their research has found that there is an association between maltreated juveniles and low-income families, violent offenders among minority disadvantaged youths, and youths confined to juvenile correctional institutions. Well, it goes back to the original plan. Maltreated juveniles and low-income families. It kind of seems to go hand in hand a lot of times. Violent offenders among minority disadvantaged youths and youths confined to juvenile correctional institutions. History of physical abuse in juveniles was related to greater engagement of delinquent behavior. If the kids were abused, physically abused as a kid, chances of them becoming a violent delinquent juvenile as they get older greatly increase, and that's exactly what they're saying. These are the conclusions of the research by both parties. Southammer, Lober, Wee, Homish, and Lober found that not living with both biological parents plays a role in whether maltreatment has an effect on delinquency. It may be important to strengthen support systems for families without two biological parents. I think we've kind of summed it up. To have both biological parents there, it's not always possible, but it is very important, and there are steps that can be taken and that need to be taken if that's not possible, and it's something that needs to be recognized early on to recognize the problems that could potentially happen if this is the situation. Polskaya, Armstrong, and McNeish feel the need to develop effective interventions for youths who experience maltreatment is essential to curtail or to reduce recidivism. And they're saying there needs to be an intervention to stop the revolving door. Once it starts, you've got to do something to stop it. If you don't, there's just going to be a recurring cycle. Some current practices. One is by the United States Department of Justice, Office of Justice Programs, Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention. They've created, it's called the Safe Start Initiative, 2013, to prevent and reduce the impact of children's exposure to violence in both the home and the community. The initiative defines exposure to violence as being a victim of abuse, neglect, or maltreatment, or witnessing domestic violence or other forms of violent crime in the community. The initiative has set goals such as prevention, early intervention, treatment, and acute response for children at high risk of being exposed to violence and for those that have already been exposed to violence. The initiative coordinates with service providers such as early childhood education, health departments, child welfare, substance abuse prevention and intervention, domestic violence agencies, law enforcement, and the courts to address the needs of these children. Domestic violence is kind of is something mentioned here, and domestic violence is something that caught on in the 90s. Prior to, if you went to domestic violence call, you just kind of separated. Well, they started recognizing the problems with that and the potential for death. So they addressed it. Well, this is something that's starting to come along with it. Now they're starting to address the effects of the domestic violence. Domestic violence just being just one aspect of it. They're also addressing how mom and dad's drug use, mom and dad's criminal behavior are affecting these kids and setting the tone for these kids later in life. And basically what they're doing is they're trying to head it off. They're trying to get together and partner up with all these different government and private entities and say, hey, there's something that we can do and something that needs to be done. And for these kids, because at such a young age, they have no say-so in it. The kids don't. My conclusion is there's definitely data that supports a direct link between family issues such as maltreatment and juvenile delinquency. Everything I've seen, there's a correlation back to an early childhood. And like I said, whether it be maltreatment, mom and dad being, having criminal behavior, drug use, poor income, all of that. My research has also found that families living in low-income parts of the country are prone to these situations, resulting in the juveniles resorting to delinquent acts. Now, This could be because they see the pattern of mother and father and kind of adopt that pattern, or it may be because of the low-income family and the antisocial behavior. They're reaching out, whether it be through a gang, or just the criminal activity, just to do. So that's kind of what that's saying. Government, private, and organizations are being proactive about reducing this problem, but the prevention starts in the home. Government and these private entities can only do so much. It all starts with the mom and dad in the home, and until that's recognized and practiced, people can only do so much. They can do so much to help, but it all rests on the shoulders of mom and dad. My references, and that is now the end of my presentation. Thank you.